Seth freaking Rollins, and this is BrettO Live on YouTube.
What is going on, guys? BrettO Live back with another video, and today we have the WWE Week in Review setup, episode 74. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. We always do. Raw wasn't too bad. I'll give my rating at the end. I thought it was pretty interesting how they ended the show. There were some pretty decent moments during the show as well. We're going to get into it. I'm going to talk about it. So without further ado, let's bloody do it. Starting over here was Raw Underground. It was Aleister Black versus Kevin Owens. Absolutely insane brawl. They started up in the ring, some hard-hitting action, going all the way to the outside, going back into the ring. It was a big fight. And then, oh my gosh, I forgot what the guy's name is, but he's the really big guy in Raw Underground that Shane McMahon always sends in the ring to kick some butt, and that's exactly what he did. He went out, he took out Black and Owens, and then Shane's like, all right, that's it. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed that brawl. Hopefully we get an actual match between these two. I think that would be absolutely awesome. It was Randy Orton in the beginning of the show coming out, basically just stating out a promo how at, oh my gosh, Clash of Champions, how it's going to be him versus Drew McIntyre. If Drew McIntyre is even going to be there, how Randy Orton's getting a title opportunity if Drew McIntyre's out. But yeah, very interesting how Drew McIntyre returned after 3 punt kicks to the head a couple weeks ago. So he returned, he came out, Claymore kicked Randy Orton. Absolutely insane, by the way. Claymore kicked Randy Orton. And then, later in the show, Claymored him again in his match against Keith Lee. So yes, it was Randy Orton versus Keith Lee, and I really do not like what they're doing with Keith Lee. Honestly, like they just need to get him out of this rivalry with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Like he's kind of just like a side superstar for this rivalry. I'm not the biggest fan of it. So yeah, get Keith Lee out of here. But yeah, in the end of that match, it was Randy Orton hitting an RKO on Keith Lee, and then out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre runs in, Claymore kick to Randy Orton, ding ding ding. Keith Lee loses by disqualification. So yeah, they just need to get Keith Lee out of there. And then at the end, Randy Orton was leaving the arena with his suitcase, and then he got Claymore kicked backstage. So that's 3 Claymore kicks. Payback because Randy Orton did 3 punt kicks to him on Raw. I thought that was absolutely awesome. I loved that. Loved everything about that. Moving over here was a tag team match. Mickie James and Asuka versus Lana and Natalya. This was a very lame, boring match. Definitely the worst of the night. My goodness. But yeah, in the end, Mickie James, she was about to win the match, and then Asuka tagged herself in, hit the Asuka lock on Lana, and then won. Thought it was really boring, and I could not care less. Moving over here, it was Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford versus Angel Garza and Andrade in a tag team match. Pretty interesting tag team match. It was pretty interesting because then Joe Garza got so fed up with Andrade and Selena Vega that he left ringside. He left the match. So he just left Andrade high and dry for the Street Profits to beat him. So yes, of course, Street Profits did beat them. Or should I say Andrade? And then after that, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura's music, Cesaro's music hits. I'm like, wait, it's not Friday Night SmackDown. He comes out, the brand-to-brand invitational. We're going to see a Raw Tag Team title and SmackDown Tag Team title match next week on Raw. Of course, not for the titles. It's just going to be Tag Champs versus Tag Champs. I think that's awesome. I really hope Cesaro and Shinsuke can pick up the victory. But yeah, that should be a really cool match. That's going to be next week on Monday Night Raw. That was awesome, I thought. Moving over here, it was Peyton Royce versus Billie Kay, of course, because the Iconics are no more. They had a match, not too bad, and obviously they're going to give the win to Peyton Royce because she is, like, at least in the storyline, more talented than Billie Kay. So yeah, she did pick up the victory. 1, 2, 3, and then at the end, I thought Peyton Royce was going to turn heel and take her out, but no, picked her up and hugged her. So that was not too bad. I honestly think Peyton Royce can turn heel in the future. I think they're kind of teasing it a little there, but yeah, I definitely think she could still turn heel, and or Billie Kay could turn heel. That would be pretty cool. But one of them, I think, is going to turn heel. But yeah, otherwise, not a half-bad match, I guess. Moving over here, it was Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott versus Shayna Baszler in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Shayna Baszler actually lost by a pinning submission, just a pinning maneuver just like this from Liv Morgan. I'm like, what? And then it was supposed to be Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott to see like who the better tag partner is, like either Shayna Baszler or Nia Jax. But then Retribution interrupted, and then they popped up on the Tron, and then they're basically just saying how they didn't directly say Mr. McMahon, but basically just saying how Mr. McMahon's behind all of these screens and the crowd noise, and like I could tell what they were pointing at and hinting at. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. They were all standing there talking with like a muffled voice. Thought it was pretty interesting, and saying how Mr. McMahon didn't really use them or anything. So it's probably just a bunch of jobbers that are just destroying the business, I guess. So yeah, I think that's not too bad. I enjoyed that. Moving over here, it was Apollo Crews and Cedric Alexander and Ricochet versus The Hurt Business in the beginning of the show in a 6-man tag team match. Very interesting ending. Cedric Alexander actually turned heel. This was so weird. So nearing the end of the match, Cedric Alexander, he pulled Ricochet off the apron and started throwing him into the barricade. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, my God. Cedric Alexander's turning heel. It was, like, so weird. Like, I didn't notice it at first. Maybe because I knew it was going to come for such a long time that he was going to join the Hurt Business. But, yeah, it was so weird because it's like I knew it was going to happen, and he was already doing it. I barely even noticed. But, yeah, he did it. He took out Ricochet, and then that gave the Hurt Business the opportunity to take out Apollo Crews. 1, 2, 3. They defeated them. Cedric Alexander joined the Hurt Business later in the show on the MVP VIP lounge, and then it turned into a 8-man tag team match. It was the Hurt Business, now with Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet, Apollo Crews, and the Viking Raiders. So not a half-bad tag team match right there. In the end, Cedric Alexander did win the match for his team, and the Hurt Business is on top. Hopefully they could get some more tag team, like maybe they could get like some more gold, maybe like the Raw Tag Team Championships, and then also the WWE Championship. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Say like MVP holds the WWE title, and then Shelton and Cedric hold like the Raw Tag Team Championships. I think that would be really cool. So they're just dominating the business. I think that would be pretty cool. Moving over here is the main event of the show. Is Dominic Mysterio, yes, I know that's Johnny Gargano, versus Buddy Murphy in a pretty interesting straight fight match. Not half bad. Of course, Rey Mysterio's family was all on ringside, which was pretty cool. But yeah, in the end of this match, very cool maneuver. I set it up right here. Buddy Murphy like slid under the bottom rope and did like a powerbomb move right through a table to Buddy Murphy. I thought that was really cool. But yes, and then Dominic actually beat Buddy Murphy in this match. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised. He actually beat Buddy Murphy. Not Seth Rollins, but he beat Buddy Murphy. That's a start. And then his family, Rey Mysterio, Aaliyah, and oh my gosh, what's her name? Angie, all came into the ring with Dominic with all kendo sticks, and they all started beating up on Buddy Murphy with kendo sticks. I kind of felt bad for Buddy Murphy because, like, they should be doing this to the Monday Night Messiah, not Buddy Murphy. Like, I know you're trying to send a message, but man, you should be doing this to the Messiah. I think he deserves it way more than Murphy does. But yes, they took out Murphy with kendo sticks, and that's the way that they ended the show. But yeah, it was not a half bad Raw. I gotta admit, I'm gonna give this Raw an 8 out of 10. I thought it wasn't too bad. Yeah, and now let's jump into SmackDown. Let's see if it's better. And moving into SmackDown here, last week I gave SmackDown a 10 out of 10. Let's see what happens this week. So without further ado, let's jump right on in. Starting over here, it was Otis versus John Morrison in a rematch from last week. Honestly, I felt no need for this rematch. There's kind of like a mini rivalry with like the Miz, Morrison, and Heavy Machinery. Not the biggest fan of it, but yeah, Otis did pick up the victory, hit the frog splash off the second rope to John Morrison after the Caterpillar elbow drop, and then the Miz actually stole the lunchbox, which last week we learned that the contract was held in there by Otis. But then, of course, Otis moved around the contract, so the contract's now in the main briefcase. So Miz and Morrison stole the wrong one this time, and they didn't get anything. So yeah, I really hope they end that. I'm not really the biggest fan of that. But yeah, it's something small, but, you know, not my favorite part of the show. Moving over here, it was Kalisto and Gran Metalik, the Lucha House Party versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, the current SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This match was not too bad. You know, it wasn't a half bad match in the end. The Street Profits actually invaded their champions room, and with like a big party. They had champagne and everything like that. So there was a big party going on in Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro's room. And then, yeah, that basically distracted Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro well enough for Kalisto to roll up Cesaro, 1, 2, 3, pick up the victory. So that's definitely gonna, I would imagine that gives them a future tag title opportunity that Kalisto, I guarantee, squanders, because literally every opportunity that Kalisto is given, he squanders it all the time, I swear. Moving over here, it was supposed to be AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy in an Intercontinental Championship match. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not happening. Are you serious? And the bell rang is like, okay, I guess we're actually getting an Intercontinental title match. But of course, you know, we never really get what we want when it comes to WWE. Sami Zayn interferes. He takes out Jeff Hardy, takes out Styles, makes it a disqualification, so of course no title is going to change hands. Jeff Hardy is still your Intercontinental Championship, but Sami Zayn thinks he's the Intercontinental Champion, which is totally a joke because he's the one that left for whatever reason for 2 months. Why wouldn't they recrown a champion? So yeah, Jeff Hardy is your Intercontinental Champion. I don't care what you guys say, but probably at TLC we will see a triple threat match between these three men, and that is going to be awesome. I'm super excited for that. But otherwise, here on SmackDown, this was pretty disappointing. Kind of a repeat of what happened happened last week with Jeff Hardy. Not going to lie. A lot of this stuff was kind of a repeat. Moving over here, it was actually Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and Tamina in a fatal 4-way match. Winner faces Bayley at Clash of Champions. Main highlight of this match was Alexa Bliss hitting the Sister Abigail on Nikki Cross on the outside of the ring. And more dreads are appearing in Alexa Bliss's hair week after week. So that's very, very interesting. Very, very cool. But yeah, she did hit the Sister Abigail on Nikki Cross. And then in the end, Nikki Cross actually came back and picked up the victory after Alexa Bliss just totally walked out of this match. And then it turned into a triple threat. And then, as I said, Nikki Cross did pick up the victory. But it honestly doesn't even matter because whoever won this match at Clash of Champions, Bayley's going to retain because we need to see Sasha versus Bayley for the title. That's a proven fact. So whoever would have won this match, it wouldn't have mattered because I guarantee at Clash of Champions, Bayley's going to retain because we need to see Sasha versus Bayley for the SmackDown Championship, maybe at Survivor Series. I'm not sure, maybe at the Cell. But yeah. Yeah, pretty not too bad. Moving over here was Bayley coming out. She was supposed to be answering a bunch of questions about like Sasha Banks's the attack of what happened last week with the attack on Sasha Banks after the match. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. She came out, sat on the chair that she beat Sasha Banks with, and basically just saying how she has no answer, how this has been her plan, how she's used Sasha Banks and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? This is a bunch of bullcrap. But yeah, she turned on Sasha Banks last week, and she didn't really have anything to say about it as she was sitting in the ring. Moving over here, it was the main event of the show was Sheamus and King Corbin versus Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. This match got started. I'm like, wait, where is Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns never even came out during this match up until the end. So his memo is true. Wreck everyone and leave. So he comes out, wrecks, and he leaves. Basically, that's how he does it nowadays. And literally, he goes by that motto. So Jey Uso was going to the top rope, hit his frog splash. Roman Reigns was able to tag himself in before Jey Uso jumped. So then Roman Reigns was the legal man. Spear on Sheamus. 1, 2, 3. So Roman Reigns basically stole the victory. But yeah, I don't think Jey Uso realizes that Roman Reigns is a heel, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure if Reigns is like a complete heel yet. If it's just a weird kind of heel that I've never really seen before, at least here with Roman Reigns. It's very, very interesting heel turn. Again, as I said, not really a heel turn, but it's interesting. But yeah. Not a half bad SmackDown for here tonight. I feel like I'm forgetting something. If I do, feel free to correct me down in the comments down below. But yeah, if I were to rate SmackDown this week, I'm gonna give SmackDown. I'm gonna give it a 7, just because I thought it was a lot of repeating from last week. The Sami Zayn moment, the Otis moment. I just thought it was a lot of repeating. But yeah, I'm still gonna give it a 7. That's not a bad rating at all. So not a bad show at all. But yeah, guys, this has been the week in review for this week. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash a like, comment down below what you guys thought about the shows, and I'll see you guys next time. BrettO Live out.